Okay, so we're going to have a look at how we create patterns in Photoshop using duplication or repeated duplication. So the first thing we're going to do is duplicate Stay Puft Marshmallow Man here, okay? And basically we're going to loop him round in a circle using some shortcut keys and some transformation. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Edit, Free Transform, or Command and T, okay? And then we want to move this central point for Stay Puft down right into the middle in Photoshop here. Now my image is going to rotate around this point here, so we're aiming to rotate him all the way around. We'll just come to the edge here until we see this hooked arrow, and then we'll rotate him a little bit, probably around 5 to 10 degrees. Hit enter, and that will apply that transformation. Okay, so basically now we can repeat that transformation by doing Shift, Command, and T. Okay, and it will keep moving Stay Puft round in that circle. But we want to duplicate him at the same time, so we're going to hold down Shift, Alt, Command, and then tap T. And you can see now, when I tap T, it's going to keep rotating Stay Puft round in a circle. Okay, so we can keep going. We can keep going until we get back round to the beginning. And now we have a circle of Stay Puft the Marshmallow Man. So we have a whole bunch of layers here, you can see, and we can now group those into a layer. So I'm going to Shift and click. So I'm going to click on one layer, hold down Shift, and then click on another layer so that I've got all those layers selected, and you'll see them all blue when they're selected. Then I can come up to my layers panel here, and I'm going to create a new group from layers. So I'm going to come up here to this option, new group from layers, and we'll call this Stay Puft. So now I've created a manageable layer that I can use and reuse or duplicate. Now, one thing to bear in mind as you're doing this is you're creating a huge number of layers in Photoshop, so your images can get big pretty quickly. Okay, so let's create a brand new layer here, and we're going to look at a different way that we can duplicate something. Okay, so I'm going to grab the brush tool, okay, and I'm going to grab a nice small brush, and then I'm going to increase my opacity to 80%, and then I'm just going to draw a nice little swirl. Okay, so once I have my swirl here, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to this time make a selection. Okay, so when I created my Stay Puft duplication, it made many layers. Okay, with this option, I want to just create all those duplications in one layer. So I've got a selection here. I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and this time I'll use Rotate. Drag my center point to here. Okay, and then I'm going to just rotate this by around 5 degrees. Okay, and then hit enter to apply that transformation. Now I still have my selection here, and that's the key here to making this transformation on one layer. So if I hold down Shift, Command, and tap T now, you can see that all my transformations are dropping into that same layer. So I can click quickly until I come all the way around. And as you come to the end, just make sure you don't start doubling up over the layers there. So I'm going to hold down Alt, Command, and Z just to take a few steps back, so I can see a little bit of doubling up in my layers where the line was too dark. So I'm going to click Command D to deselect, and you can see now we've got a nice pattern layer created from a quick line we created in Photoshop. So we've got these two options for duplicating, one which creates many layers and one which creates your pattern on a single layer. Okay, we can also duplicate with scale as well. So for instance, if we create a new layer here, and I'll do the same thing with the paintbrush, I'm going to grab the paintbrush and I'll just draw a quick cube here. Okay, and then if I select that, Command and T to transform, and then I'm going to move my marker down to this corner. I'm just going to transform this guy. Okay, and then if I do Shift, Alt, Command, and T, I'm going to keep transforming my cube until there's nowhere left to go. Okay, so that's a transformation. And of course, we can do transformation with rotation as well. So if we grab our brush tool again, okay, transform, I'll put my pointer here and do a tiny rotation and a tiny transformation. Okay, hit enter, and then Shift, Alt, Command, and T, and we're going to get a rotation as well as that tapering off of the size. Okay, so that's a quick overview of how to do some different transformations. I hope you found that useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial.